college football getting underway in Hawaii. The home opener for the Rainbow Warriors. They welcome in the Navy Midshipmen. And we welcome you to the Aloha State. John Sadak and the Hall of Famer Randy Cross. We also welcome you to one of the most stark contrasts of style that you'll see in this great game.
Well, points and yards, they've got that in common. After that, not much else, because you got one team that wants to eat up yards and eat up clock, and the other team in Hawaii in the run and shoot that just wants to spin it everywhere.
And the men who will be spinning it and running it are Malcolm Perry and Cole McDonald.
Well, Malcolm Perry has proven to be one of the most dynamic runners in major college football, and that's not hyperbole, that's a fact. A couple of 90-plus yard runs last year, over 1,100 yards rushing. Last week, Cole McDonald announced himself to football and said, hey guys, 400-yard passing, almost 100 yards rushing. How was that for a first go?
That's the best debut in program history in terms of yards for a quarterback, the best since Nick Rolovich back in 2000, now his third year as the head man for the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. And he is not the only former Hawaii quarterback involved in today's game. Also, Navy head man Ken Niumatololo downstairs with Amanda Balionis.
Thanks, Coach. I know you weren't happy about what just happened there. What did happen?
It's nothing. We got to get ready for the game.
I know this is a special place for you. This is the place you used to sell newspapers at when you were just a little boy. You played here. What does it mean to come back here with your Navy Midshipmen?
This game's not about me. We're here to win a game, and there's a good team there. We got to be ready to play.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck today. Guys.
Appreciate it, Amanda. Hawaii back in black, bringing back the black uniforms tonight. Navy in the traveling white, and we remind you of a rule change in FBS football this season. If a receiving team makes a fair catch anywhere inside of its own 25, the ball will go to the 25-yard line. So Bennett Mooring on the kick. Navy shoots it in the air. And a reluctant knee taken by Cedric Bird. Let's take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. Cue the moo. Good to have you back, Cal. And at quarterback for Hawaii is Cole McDonald. What a splash it was against Colorado State.
It sure was, and he showed this run and shoot, John, was really something that he could adjust to quickly. And it's incumbent upon the quarterback and the wide receivers. They got to be on the same page reading defenses every single play.
4 wide look. McDonald checks down, flings it out in the flat, finds Ursulo's got a first down to the 39. Let's take a look at the rest of the starters for Hawaii, and right on cue, Ursulo with the early grab.
Couple of freshmen up front.
Yeah, a young offensive line, including El Manning, a true freshman at left tackle. Solo Vaipulu, a true freshman at right guard. Ursua, that huge game last week, they didn't think he would play. Quick hitter again to Ursua, who's pursued and fell just about immediately by Hudson Sullivan in hot pursuit out of the Sam Backer position.
That's a classic play in this run and shoot. You throw a quick little flip screen to the outside. The linemen go outside the block, and the runner tries to come back inside those blocks. Ursua was just tripped up. They'll do that another 3 or 4 times.
Now, interesting to note, Nick Rolovich had thoughts in mind about the game's opening coin toss. He believed that if Hawaii had won, he would elect to try to take the football. McDonald launching, deep look, and a huge play to JoJo Ward, who soars and gets smacked by Juan Haley after moving the chains.
I mentioned that the receivers and the quarterback have to be on the same page. Receiver has to know when you settle up in front of that safety, as soon as you start to make that stop, that ball's coming right at your backside shoulder, and that's right where McDonald delivered it.
Quickly into Navy territory. Out of the pistol. Soft motion for Holly. Navy fades back defensively. Holly smothered right at the point of attack as we examine the defensive starters for the Midshipmen. Nizer Cromartie, converted defensive end, who's now at that Raider position.
A lot of stress on the strikers and Raiders. That's sort of the outside backer kind of position, because you're going to be put in spots where you're going to be asked to cover slot receivers at times, and that's a tough ask.
2nd and 10. On the delayed handoff, Holly with jagged cuts, and he earns the 29. So Ken Niumatololo was a little upset as he spoke with Amanda Balionis, and the reason he was upset entering that conversation, communication about the coin toss. He wanted the ball if Navy had won the toss, and that goes in contrast to what Nick Rolovich, Hawaii head man, was discussing as some mental strategy that he might employ in this game. And normally Hawaii would want the ball, but he would have chosen to defer had Hawaii won because of implications of Navy getting the ball to begin the second. McDonald on 3rd down. That's the first. Ursua wide open. He can find those crevices driven out by Hudson Sullivan.
And John, what you're talking about with that kickoff is really fundamentals. Kind of like Ursua here on just a little out pattern. Navy's defense is deep, so he's got a chance to make some yards. But with the kickoff, it's how you finish the first half. You're thinking about the end of the second quarter and the beginning of the third quarter at the opening kickoff of the football game. It's part of the strategy against playing with this kind of team.
McDonald with plenty of time. The fire and instant contact. Cedric Byrd dragged down by Sean Williams, the captain of the Navy defense.
Yeah, keep an eye on Byrd, though. Byrd and McDonald have a great sort of a simpatico going. I mean, they live together, they practice together, they do most everything together, and it's really starting to pay the dividends that kind of relationship can, especially in this style of offense.
Yeah, what's the phrase? Wide receivers and quarterbacks have to share the same brain?
Got to share a brain.
Byrd exploded last week, the JUCO transfer, in his Hawaii debut. He motions. McDonald, end zone, wide open. Cedric Byrd, touchdown.
You get two slots in the same general area. Ursua goes under, Byrd goes straight up the field. And that was a matchup from all appearances. They were asking Sullivan, the linebacker, to cover a guy like Byrd. That is a mismatch.
Ryan Meskel's point after is good.
Great play design here from Hawaii and Coach Rolovich's offense. You clear him out with your best receiver. Right behind it, you get Byrd with a linebacker for 6.
Veteran head coach Ken Niumatololo fired up at an apparent miscommunication on the opening kick. Right on the coin toss. He wanted the football, and Navy deferred after winning.
He also wanted Hawaii not to go on a 6-minute drive to start the game, too. If you're going to do a list of things that he wanted, didn't want to see that. Wants to see his offense hold on to the ball and keep that Hawaii offense off the field as much as possible.
Already with 7 on the board, Michael Boyle boots it. And that one will go all the way down.
Barely.
Just barely broke that plane. Now Navy's first crack at the football, and it comes at the 9-12 mark. Anthony Gargiulo bulldozes 3+. Time now for the Chick-fil-A starting lineups. That is music to our ears. Malcolm Perry at quarterback for Navy.
Yeah, with Perry at quarterback, Gargiulo's got to be the hammer. Aby was kind of the hammer last year, but the physical guy's got to be the fullback now.
Keeps, late pitch, great pursuit, and a tackle for loss. Kalen Hicks, the safety, piercing through.
Little counter stop there, fullback. Second option quarterback, no. Third option, you've got a DB just firing up the field. That thing wasn't going to be much from the get-go. Nice defense right there by Hawaii.
So it's 3rd down and 10. Navy converts at a high rate, but it's normally 3rd and short. Gargiulo up the gut into Jelani Tavai. He'll be short by about 3.
Very, very important for Hawaii here. I was going to say, they see that offense going near the line of scrimmage. You better hold your water, stay on side.
Owen White, though, the punter, is on. High school rugby player. Cedric Bird, the return man, who averaged 15 per punt return when he was an all-league JUCO performer a year ago.
Very important for Bird here. Squeeze that ball and get your offense off to another good start.
White, the boot, long hang, and the fair catch signal made. And brought in. Hawaii gets it done on offense and defense. The Rainbow Warriors back on the drive. Hawaii's native son, Ken Niumatololo, back in his home state, coaching his Navy team in the stadium that he visited as a youngster. Right through the trees there, you can see Aiea Elementary School, where Niumatololo would attend, go across the overpass, and sneak in here to watch Pro Bowl practice, to watch high school games. Now he's back as an incredibly successful Division I head coach. Hawaii's been successful offensively and gets a few on the ground with Fred Holly.
And his high school, Radford High School, is not very far from the stadium either. It's also right here in the neighborhood.
1 mile away as the crow flies.
Do they fly straight, or are they crooked? Or
Pretty straight,
is there a difference?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, Hawaii was rather straight down the field as McDonald was electric, missed just once in 7 pass tries.
Sharsh is on the field, bottom of the screen at wide receiver. Love to go deep with him.
Instead, they curled it underneath. JoJo Ward, who didn't have much production last week, only 1 grab for 8 yards. They installed some downfield shots for him this week as well. Armed Forces football proudly supported by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.
Well, this run and shoot offense at McDonald so far having some pretty good success, not only running the ball, but short passing. But keep an eye on stretching the field. They love to do it.
What do you know? Hooking up with Bird again, and once again, it's Evan Fachman, who played very well in the spring, but got banged up. McDonald, he took some shots himself when he was running last week against Colorado State.
Yeah, the Colorado State Rams bout cut him in half a couple of times. In fact, Coach Rolovich was a little worried about how he was going to get up and how quickly he'd heal after that game, but no problem going into this one.
And they do have full faith in Chevin Cordero, the true freshman backup, and a star from right here in Honolulu. Second down, high snap. McDonald keeps his cool. Soft lob, perfect to Ursula. Shakes off a defender and gets swung down at the 30. Sean Williams the stop, and he comes up clutching right above the right knee.
How nice was that play by McDonald? An errant snap, a little high and wide, keeping your cool and getting that touch on the ball for Ursula.
I thought I saw Ursula reach his hand down right above that right knee as he came up from the contact.
That's not bad. I think he's adjusting his pants a little bit. If he starts grabbing the back of those pants, that's when you have to worry with his hamstring problems.
Ryan fades back, edge pressure shown up front. They pick it up. McDonald dropped ball. Looking for Dakota Torres, the converted tight end, a wide receiver, but Ursula about as sure-handed as they come. Now, you mentioned the ACL. It came in their only league win last year against San Jose State. They lost their big star, and the numbers took a big dive thereafter.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. 47 catches and what was it, about six games? Maybe even more, like 5.5.
Yeah.
Rehab, had a little hammy problem. Was a little sore last week going into that game and had a big one.
He told his family, don't bother coming. Very late, the gift to Holly, and what a seam! Holly stumbled at the 1. Jake Springer saved the touchdown.
Nothing real complicated. You're just going to go right up the gut. That's the middle of that offensive line. Vaipulu and Lavau and Tuulima had a great block on that.
So first and goal. Holly right back to him, and he walks in unscathed. Two possessions, 2 scores for the run and shoot.
Now, if you haven't seen a run and shoot team in a while, you're watching one of the reasons this thing is so hard to defend, because they make you defend not only physically, but also mentally. You're defending the entire width of the field, and then you're defending like the first 15 yards in the run. It's tough.
Meskel drills it.
Yeah, this is just all about the inside blocking. The guard, the center, a quick cut by Holly, and he wasn't even touched.
On call, a rainbow arcs overhead. Hawaii up 14-0, and they have a close relationship with the military. Tonight, military night, and for more, Amanda Balionis.
Yeah, thanks to honor Military Night, the Warriors ran out of the tunnel with 50 military men and women from the 25th Infantry as well as the 8th Theater Sustainment Command. Now, the 25th Infantry is a place that University of Hawaii is familiar with because Coach Rolovich, for the 3rd year in a row, brought his team to this place for team building where they faced a number of challenges, including a very difficult obstacle course. Coach said, you know, this team is just so humble, not a lot of egos. It's a pleasure to be around these guys.
Well, thank you, Amanda. And also perhaps a mental element, using folks from the Army to rush Hawaii out of the field against Navy.
Oh, mind games? No, not in football.
Boyle's boot. C.J. Williams. Perry tries to keep, hurdles a man, and takes a few licks. He earns a hard 3 yards. Jelani Tavai the denial, and here are the rest of the Navy starters, including the fullback Anthony Gargiulo, who burst on the scene last year.
He's a solid 240-pound fullback. One of the better examples of this new strength and conditioning program at the academy and how it's leaned guys out without, you know, sacrificing pounds.
2nd and 7. Gargiulo trying to protect the football against the probing reach of Hawaii. He'll be a little more than a yard shy. Here are the starters for the Rainbow Warriors. That includes the return of Jelani Tavai, the captain, a top 10 tackler in the country the last 2 years, suspended last week.
Yeah, Tavai, a guy that's, he averages 10 tackles a game. Now, when you're not a very good team, it's usually because teams are running against you, but this kid can really go to the ball.
3rd down and a little more than a yard. Gargiulo bulldozes a path, and he'll move the chains for Navy. And you can feel an exhale for the midshipmen with that first down.
It's very important. I mean, a great matchup inside is going to be the three inside people: defensive tackles, center, guards, middle linebacker. Most of the good work will happen in there.
Nelson Smith into the game, and he rolls to the 41-yard line. Smith praised by his offensive coordinator, Ivan Jasper, who calls the plays upstairs, himself a former Hawaii quarterback. Homecoming for him as well. Of course, he dealt with a significant strain with the distraction of health issues for his son, Jaron, who thankfully has taken to his heart transplant after a scary scene over the course of last season. And Perry surrounded in the backfield. Tavai finishes off the initial contact brought by Farris.
And part of the relationship that Ivan Jasper has with his quarterbacks is making those kind of decisions, being able to, at a microseconds warning, know when that ball should stay with the fullback, and there's going to be 2 or 3 defenders out there for you on the outside as a quarterback.
Often takes his quarterbacks to dinner, gets to know them even a little better in advance of the season. Did the same with Perry this year. Out of the gun, split backfield. Perry keeps. He'll be short. Just shy of the 45. Tavai the stop. Clock fading on the quarter. Do you even think about it here, Randy?
Well, you think about maybe trying to get them to jump here maybe before the quarter ends. And even then, I think you go for it.
Crowd roars. Just a hard cadence. And we're through the first quarter of play in Paradise. Ken Niumatololo in his return home against a fellow former Rainbow Warrior quarterback sees a 14-0 score. We're through one. You're watching college football on CBS Sports Network. 14-0 Hawaii as the rain falls. Let's take a look at the GoRVing road trip facts for Navy and Hawaii, the two teams that will journey the most in the FBS this year. Hawaii averages 41,000 miles a year over the last 3 seasons. But a big decision upcoming for Navy. Can you go a couple of yards? Ken Niumatololo has his offense on the field, 4th and 2 at Navy's 45.
It's closer to 3. 2.5 if you're being nice.
Listen to this crowd. They gave a hard cadence, tried to induce the Rainbow Warriors to jump right before the quarter ended. Changing things up.
New nose tackle, Moananu.
Perry. Knocked down. Hawaii's defense holds. Ikamo Keke with the stop.
How about Okeke coming up the field? That's how you force the second option. First option wasn't even faked. Second option, he was keeping the ball. Perry was the whole way, and Okeke just brought it, unloaded, and knocked Perry to the ground.
Navy was one of the most successful in America last year on 4th down. Was the best in the country 2 years ago.
Perfect time for a big shot.
Ferruta, the bruiser, is in. He's there to protect. McDonald, in and out. Ursua again. That's the second time he's had one in his hands.
Both times 15, 20 yards down the field. McDonald getting great protection. That offensive line featuring 2 true freshmen has done a stellar job so far protecting McDonald, and Ursua's coughed up about 60 yards easy on those 2 plays he's dropped the ball.
And right behind it was Jake Springer, who's been getting a lot of the reps, it seems, over Haley at the safety spot. On 2nd down. McDonald to Bird. That's been his money man today. He doesn't have a lot. Alon Nash swings him down. Armed Forces football, proudly supported by Golden Corral. And Hawaii supported by Bird's prowess. He does have a touchdown grab in this game.
And in the football world of Hawaii, everything's kind of right in that world. With this offense and Coach Rolovich bringing back the run and shoot. It's just proper. It just seems natural.
During the program's highest heights, ran that offense. McDonald can run the ball. Takes contact from Sean Williams, chopped down just inside of the 35. So here's 4th down for the Rainbow Warriors.
And this offense, you know, the run and shoot not known for its short yardage and goal line prowess, but Rolovich has got a little bit of riverboat gambler in him. So he's a lot less predictable than a lot of coaches that love to spread it and spin the ball out.
They tied for the most 4th down attempts in the Mountain West last year, but that had to do more with being down on the scoreboard a lot.
Keep an eye on Bird, bottom of the screen in the slot.
Needing 4, it's Ward. Defender falls down, and Ward is off. End zone touchdown. Perhaps the slick field, Jared Ryan stumbles. A 3-score lead for Hawaii.
Well, there was a little tropical shower here, but I don't know if it's as much slipping as a slick receiver. being hard to stay with. Ward did a great job of separating, and McDonald again delivers the ball right on the money.
Meskel drills the point after. Early second quarter, the run and shoot in rhythm. Smiles galore as the Rainbow Warriors showing last week was no fluke. They are back in a big way. Welcome back, 21-0, Hawaii with the lead. Gargiulo right into Tavai, who takes the fullback and stands him up. Gain of a yard. Now, Tavai, very successful rugby player, an All-American in his high school days. Look, shades of that kind of contact, a sport you played back in your day.
Yeah, it's a great training ground for tackling too, because it takes the head out of the game. It's got to be shoulders and arms.
Second and 9. Perry tries to cut it up and loses his footing. And this is in a similar spot of the field, some shoving after the play. It was on the opposite hash where Jared Ryan stumbled on the JoJo Ward touchdown.
Well, it's an artificial surface. There was a little bit of rain, so it is going to get fairly slick, but it's slick for everybody. It's not like just for a couple guys and a couple pairs of shoes.
Perry on third down.
Kind of in a pistol look here with Gargiulo behind him.
Keeps and tosses. Trey Walker cannot find the edge. Kalen Hicks there again.
Yeah, Kalen Hicks. I talk all the time about the value of that first defender has to be the guy to make the tackle. And that's a sure tackle in the open field by Hicks. Taking down a pretty elusive runner in Walker, who's just scooting for the corner.
The defensive coordinator Corey Batoon told us this week that Hicks, a converted linebacker, had been so consistent. When you asked him who some of the stars were leading up to the year, he praised the even display from Hicks. Oh, and White blocked! Hawaii's got it! Score! Rainbow Warriors! Maxwell Henry on the spot. As Jeffrey Keene swatted down the punt, and Henry gallops in to make it a 4-score game.
Coming from the inside, that's just more want to in the back and black Hawaii Warriors defense and punt block team. They just wouldn't be denied. They came right through the attempted blocks and swarmed the punter.
Henry, one of the many Australian products on this Hawaii team, able to convert. And now Meskel, fellow Aussie, the boot. 28-0. A Hawaii team that struggled last year. Nick Rolovich called it his hardest season in football. A roaring start. Nelson Smith is in at fullback. He gets fed and he finds a seam. Nelson Smith over midfield. Shouldered down. Rogesterman Farris III along with Okeke. But there's a big play for the Midshipmen.
Yeah, nice job inside by Ford Higgins at center. Just torquing on the nose guard. The freshman, Blessman.
.40-yard gallop. The Navy in some uncharted waters here in Hawaii territory. Right back to him, and what a hit. Kalen Hicks down low, and a flag out. Tavai held back by some of his teammates, including Okeke.
There is no foul on the play. Second down.
So no penalty. Perry on second down. Smith again right up the gut and gets tripped up by Eugene Ford, the corner. Have they found something here? You thought entering this game we'd see a lot of and perhaps some success with the fullback dive.
Yeah, you got Ford Higgins at center is kind of torquing Blessman Ta'ala, the freshman, about 310-pound nose tackle against a 260 center, but the 260 center getting the better part of it.
15 yards there. Higgins, who is a little undersized, added 10 pounds from last year. Missed spring ball coming off of ankle surgery. Perry shrugs off the initial contact and plummets to the 15-plus. Manley Williams stumbles him there, a little more than 3.
That's the thing about Perry. He's not a big dude. He's 5'9", about 185 pounds. And so he's not like Zach Abey, who was kind of built for the pounding. Perry's not built for the pounding. He's built for the speed. He's like Magnum's Ferrari. He's meant to be flat out just running.
Abey might be in to run the offense if they creep into a short yardage situation. Perry sold the fake, but then came Manley Williams with some help.
How about that defense inside, the way they're handling it for Coach Rolovich? I mean, they're not only stuffing things on the fullback on the first option side, but how many times now have we seen Perry pull that ball out and get a face full of linebacker for his efforts?
And they do have more than twice the yardage this drive than the first 3 combined. In need of 6 for a first. Nelson Smith zigzags a path for a first down. Tavai able to wrap him up.
And Gargiulo just came back in from the sideline. The power running fullback. Smith has done a really nice job of sort of hop stepping and getting through the holes. A little bit less power, a little bit more finesse and wiggle.
And Gargiulo is in. David Forney helped open that big hole. He was in a close competition with Laron Njiki for that left guard spot. Perry shifts his angle. Surrounded by black jerseys. Tavai hops on his back for a short ride. He's down to the 3.
You see that tackle by Tavai? That showed you a little rugby experience, because it didn't involve the helmet. Watch how he wraps Perry up. He engulfs him. And that very much is a rugby tackle. The arms are wrapped, they stay wrapped, and it doesn't involve the head. More teams and more coaches like Coach Rolovich there have got to teach their guys defensively how to do their tackling like that and save their head and neck.
And on cue, second and goal, here's Zach Abey at quarterback.
With a tackle over.
Abey on the ground, touchdown. His first play under center. The staff said they would employ this tactic in a goal line situation, and Abey rumbles it in.
Well, they took Kendall Wright and moved Kendall Wright over to the right side next to Woods, so you had all those offensive linemen, all that beef on the right side, and they ran right behind it.
Point after is good.
Yep, a little power running from Abey. Check out that right side and all those offensive linemen. They do a good job of depositing the defenders in the end zone.
Navy on the board, a 3-yard scamper by Zach Abey. It's 28-7, Rainbow Warriors. Abey had a great season a year ago. Peruta waves for the fair catch. The crowd wanted him to take it.
There's a lot of people out there that are confident in their abilities, but this kid looks confident. He acts confident, and it really shows in his performance.
He exudes a swagger that you want in that position. First play, JoJo Ward. Flag down. Jared Ryan was there in pursuit.
It was a pretty quick flag there right at the tackle attempt. Got to think maybe there was a hand on a face mask.
There is no foul for a face mask. The face mask was not grasped. Second down.
What did you see?
I saw that motion right there to the face mask, and then the tugging. Well, the tugging was on the jersey, but the hand did hit the face mask. Great no call by the officials.
And Jared Ryan back at corner. Might have come here. The clock stops. 28-7. Nick Rolovich said end of second quarter was a big mental focus in preparation this week. Backside pressure, wobbly throw, and somehow Cedric Bird, Shields playing DB, brings in the football and earns the 48.
Wow. McDonald got lit up. He stays in. He stays in. He's going to get hit. He couldn't see it, obviously, coming from the back like that. But watch Bird and the way that he evades this tackle. Woo. Close to a face mask there.
And Micah Farrar in pursuit. Cromartie gave that backside pressure and the contact to McDonald. Third down, Navy creeps up. Holly smacked in the mouth. Heflin, he'll be about a yard plus shy. Fourth down arrives.
Yeah, about a yard and a foot. Hey, you're up like this. Keep the hammer down. There are times to get conservative, and last week with that big lead in the second half, they kind of let up a little bit. I think it's something that, you know, the coach has got to be, Rolovich has got to be very aware of. And here at the end of the second quarter, uber aware of the fact that, hey, Navy's getting the ball to start the second half.
Finishing, the operative word for both teams. Blitz up the gut. They pick it up. McDonald lobs. Ursula wide open. Touchdown. That's a way to finish.
Ursula working out of the slot. You get a little defender on defender crime. They collide. That creates space. And Cole McDonald again puts the ball and drops it right in on his receiver's hands.
Meskel for the point after. The run and shoot, firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it's a double slot to the near side. The two defenders on the slot. Offensive players collide. That leaves Ursula wide open to celebrate with Bird.
The run and shoot, a clinic on display today. Break it down, Randy.
Well, the most important part is that third option there, or the third point. After the snap, the wide receiver and quarterback, as we've already talked about, have to share a brain. And Mouse Davis, who was the head coach at Portland State, had a quarterback by the name of June Jones. And then later on, when June Jones was in the NFL, you got the offense in the NFL. You got it in Houston, you got it in Atlanta, it was in Detroit. But the daddy of that offense is Mouse Davis. Talk about a mad scientist.
Fair catch. 200 yards in the air for the Rainbow Warriors. Now 4 minutes and change before the break. They sold the fake. Perry slips through. Malcolm Perry can run. Touchdown, Navy. One play, 15 seconds.
And when you hear about the term from a coach that this guy is the most dynamic runner we've had while I've been here, quote from Ken Niumatololo, that's dynamic in one small little package and play. That tells you exactly all you need to know about why Malcolm Perry is such a threat at quarterback in this offense.
Had a pair of runs over 90 yards last year, 75 there. Point after is good. And Navy gets a lightning quick score thanks to the explosive home run hitting of Malcolm Perry. Yesterday, the U.S. Naval Academy went as a team to visit the site, one of the worst tragedies in American history. Pearl Harbor. They paid their respects to their fellow brothers who tragically lost their lives back in 1941, an experience they will never forget. Emotions, of course, ran high. Our broadcast crew had a separate journey onto the grounds of the base itself. Ken Niumatololo, the leader of this Navy squad, paying homage to those before, and also on the road getting tested. Down 28-0 early. Malcolm Perry just ripped off a one-play 75-yard scoring drive all by himself. Remember that Navy won the toss and deferred. Navy will have the ball to begin the second. What a boot. The retreating Bird watches it sail for a touchback. And they're more than doubling up Navy on the scoreboard right now. On third down, McDonald looking long. Shield. Grab. What a throw and catch. Ursula brings it in.
Where does the ball go after he hits the ground? It's in. It hits. Does it move? Does he have it? I don't think it ever left that left arm. He tucks it. It moves a little, but it doesn't hit the ground. He keeps possession of it. That's a catch.
On the ground. Holly gets bashed. Taylor Heflin, Sean Williams combine on it, but the clock continues to wind.
It's perfect if you're Coach Rolovich. It's what you want. Positive yards, stayed in bounds, clock is moving. Whatever you do here, your kicker hits the field and does his business as this half is ended. And Navy never sees the ball again until the end of the half to start the third quarter.
If you're Navy, do you think about timeouts?
In a word, yes.
Bird. Right into Nash. Gets the 9. Under a minute. The Navy has 2.
Almost a guaranteed field goal now. You know, last year, Hawaii was 1 for 4 kicking field goals. Last week, they were 3 for 3. So pretty good start after a below or a bad year.
And one of those makes ice the game inside of a minute, in part because of a third down incomplete pass when the ball was thrown away by McDonald, something that Nick Rolovich, the head coach, put on himself. To Bird. Rips it in. Nash there on the stop.
Timeout Hawaii.
Now 19 seconds. Relatively moot.
Now you're working the clock. And they're eating the clock. What a nice job on this offense in the clock.
Clock management runs so well by Nick Rolovich to this point.
Yeah, you know, last week, offense was snapping the ball in the second half and in some parts of the game when it was 15, 20 seconds left on the play clock. Today, especially on this drive, it's getting down to 2 or 3 before the ball's snapped.
Out of a Hawaii timeout on first and goal. Checking down, McDonald lobs it. Only Ward could grab it. He can't. Marcus Wiggins there in coverage.
Yeah, just the very end. You know, and that's a smart play. We talked about McDonald being smart and getting down and not taking an unnecessary hit. There's a ball where he puts that ball where only his receiver, even in theory, would have a chance to catch it. And it basically throws it out of bounds while still giving him a chance to get it.
Now remember that last week, Hawaii nearly blew a 30-point lead. Had to hold on thanks to a field goal make in the final minute against Colorado State.
Let's see what they've learned.
On 2nd and goal. Off target to Kamaka. NAIA transfer out of Midland University. It's one of the rare misfires by McDonald. So 3rd down and goal. Now stopping the clock doesn't mean much with 8 seconds.
No.
But what do you look for here?
You know, they've been so effective going to their slot receivers. I think you keep going back to it, and specifically top of the screen slot is Bird. Does McDonald go back to his roommate?
They go on the ground. Holly inside of the 5. Use another timeout here. Cromartie able to take him out. And now Nick Rolovich will say, go ahead, Ryan Meskel, go on and kick a field goal.
Just mission accomplished. He spent a good part of our meeting yesterday talking about this very situation and how, you know what, it's on the coaches, it's on us. We've got to coach our guys better. End of the game, end of this 2nd quarter, we've got to know when to snap the ball. We've got to teach them how to manage the clock, and we've got to manage it ourselves. And a great case in point of learning something from week to week and how they've handled it here at the end of the 1st half.
23-yard try. Ryan Meskel remains perfect on field goals. The young man made 1 a year ago in 4 attempts. He's 4 of 4 this year. Nick Rolovich walks off with a smile. Ken Niumatololo, a pensive pursing of the lips, and the fans loving it here at Aloha Stadium.
I think these Hawaii fans, at least for now, are temporarily very much in love.
Under the rainbow they are. We're through the 1st half of play. Hawaii 38, Navy 14. Back to our CBS Sports Network studio. The Verizon halftime report is next. Hawaii leads big over Navy. Midshipmen did not attempt to pass in the 1st. Their best passing quarterback, Garrett Lewis, warms up. We welcome you back to Aloha Stadium. John Sadak, the Hall of Famer, Randy Cross. Your thoughts on that 1st?
Wow. The run and shoot was not a fluke last week. It is as advertised. And right now the Navy defense hasn't really quite figured out how to stop them.
Here are the numbers. The 1st half stats brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Look at that disparity in total number of plays run.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've got to see more passing out of Navy. Now, does that mean that Malcolm Perry does not play quarterback? Probably not. But I think you see AB. I think you see Perry. You might even see Lewis, AB, and Perry all on the field at the same time.
Fair catch. Navy to the 25. We go downstairs to Amanda Balionis, who spoke with the head coaches.
Yeah, starting off with Navy's coach Ken Niumatololo, I asked him what they are going to have to do in this 2nd half. He said simply we have to finish. Offensively, we're not going to be making a ton of adjustments, but on defense, we have got to stop them more. They have way too many 3rd and 4th down conversions. Now, Nick Rolovich for Hawaii, he was really pleased with their the way they finished the 1st half with the time management. You guys talked about that, how they needed to improve from that last week. He said we also have got to make more stops. We're going to keep running our offense because so far it's working, guys.
Appreciate that, Amanda. And Navy needs success on both sides. Gargiulo getting some push from that offensive front. Pounds his way to the 29. Akoteo, the only returning starter on the defensive line, stopped him there. Here's a look at what Navy accomplished offensively. It was dire in the first 3.
Yeah, they could use a few more one-play drives, that's for sure.
And that is what Malcolm Perry provides as a runner. Now remember, he has only 1 career completion. That was on a trick play on a touchdown to Zach Abey against Temple last year. Perry slips out of a hit. Perry evading the entire defense nearly to midfield. Tavai, the top tackler for Hawaii, finally tames him.
Yeah, most of the left side of the defense for Hawaii. There's one shot, there's two, there's three arms. Finally, you get a shoulder to the lower leg that takes him down, but that's something we haven't seen much out of these Navy runners, is elusiveness.
Nelson Smith drives to the 34. Manly Williams able to silence him there.
And there's an underrated play right there. Just a scrum, very kind of nondescript, a little over 3 yards. So it's those kinds of plays that are the meat and potatoes of this style of offense. Bottom line is you're down 24. You need not only patience, you also need lightning.
It was raining earlier. A little misdirection, and the Rainbow Warriors read it. Pavihi, who started for Tavai last week at linebacker, able to get his head in there as part of the sea of black and allowed nothing.
And Tavai gets a little bit, gets a little piece himself. 31 there, coming from that left inside linebacker position.
You're facing 3rd and 5 plus. That feels very different against Navy today. This Hawaii defense ran out of gas in the second half. Let Colorado State back in, but that was in the air. Perry sold it, but as he tries to cut, he has no ground. Pavi'i takes advantage as Manly Williams closed off that outside angle.
Yeah, Williams, excellent job. He gets on the upfield shoulder of the quarterback. See, Williams is on that upfield shoulder. Perry can't go around him. He can't keep going. When he gets on that upfield shoulder, he forces him to cut back inside. And Ken Niumatololo's quarterback's got nowhere to go once he makes that cut.
Does this say pass? Mike Martin is in for his first play at fullback all game on 4th and 5. They go 3 wide, slot left. Option to Martin. On his first look of the game, he's got the first, and he's got the red zone. Kalen Hicks trips him up.
That looked familiar? Remember the option that Hawaii ran on 4th down earlier? The exact same play. Quarterback gets a little pressure, he flips it out to the back, and the back is free running down the field. Great job upstairs by Ivan Jasper, the offensive coordinator. Just sort of out-scheming the Hawaii defense on that play.
And now Zach Abey, who finished the drive with a physical rushing touchdown in his first look at quarterback, checks back in.
And you get another taste of Gargiulo, the 240-pound fullback, in contrast to Smith, the 212-pound fullback.
1st and goal. Abey follows the fullback, and he's in, standing up. Touchdown, Navy. That's a play that you love out of Navy's playbook.
Yeah, that follow play is awfully tough to defend. Wood, the right tackle, gets a great block. Gessel, the right guard, really nice. But that's just Zach Abey putting the hammer down. He didn't really lower his head until he got past the goal line.
Point after from Mooring.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Navy offense. Obviously success, but more importantly, points against a team with a big lead.
The beauty of Hawaii. We've been able to enjoy it, so many of the Navy fans, friends and family that made the journey. 38-21, Hawaii has enjoyed the lead most of this game, up 28-0 out of the gate. But Zach Abey caps off a very Navy drive. 12 plays, 75 yards, nearly 7 minutes. It feels like a different ball game.
Again, I'll say they need punts from the Hawaii offense, and they need that offensive line to keep mashing the defense.
Hawaii will take a chance here. Justice Ongafa. McDonald has been dynamite. Underneath to Sharsh. Ball loose, but out of bounds. Driven there by the combination of Heflin and Farrar. 38 points in the first half, the most for the Rainbow Warriors in a first half since late September of '07 at Idaho. And last week, Hawaii ran out of gas some in the second half and had a number of its players cramping against Colorado State as the Rams roared back in that game. Ryan showing press, fades back. McDonald on second and short, checks down, pressured. Brought down, ball loose! Navy's got it! Josh Webb falls upon the free football, and the turnover means short field, Navy ball at the 9. Nizer Cromartie, their best pass rusher a year ago, moved off the line to Raider, gets to McDonald and knocks it loose.
Well, they get the pressure from the inside, really delivers McDonald on a platter to Cromartie coming from the outside and rushing out there. The ball does come loose, and hey, the best thing before a punt is a turnover.
Each head coach, you ask him every game, what's the #1 key? Ken Niumatololo and Nick Rolovich will tell you, protect the football. 1 on the play clock, Perry gets it off, and here's the trick play, reverse to Avey. Avey's got it, touchdown. They nearly didn't run the play because of miscommunication and personnel on the field, and then Ivan Jasper calls up the misdirection.
Now, let's give him a little bit more credit in that subterfuge could be part of the play, where maybe they're acting confused.
Well, remember on Perry's lone completion last year, that was part of the subtlety as Avey arced up to the line of scrimmage looking like he was calling an audible when they direct snapped, rolled out, and had the option pass.
Well, that was all about Cromartie and that defense. McDonald can't step up, right into Cromartie's arms. The ball comes out, and then it's Zach Avey. Little pitch from Perry. Suddenly got a 14 or 10-point game.
Navy was down 28-0 in this game. Long drive, score, turnover, score on a trick play. It's down to 10. And here's Justice Ongafa, who hurdles a Navy defender. And he gets an extra few from the fair catch as we... McDonald off the play fake, tip ball! Incomplete. Jake Springer tried to cup the falling football as Cedric Bird could not corral it.
Man, Cole McDonald just puts that ball on the back shoulder with a lot of velocity on it. Bird can't catch it. And man, that was close by Springer. Almost got a chance to scoop that thing up.
2nd down and 10. McDonald incredibly crisp at the game start. Hasn't had as many opportunities since. Finds Ursua, his steady man, and Sean Williams trips him up. He's got a first as we check in with Amanda.
Yeah, down on these Hawaii sidelines, coaches right now are preaching fundamentals and execution. They're saying, hey, it's a simple game, guys. We just have to settle down, focus on these fundamentals, and execute.
Appreciate that, Amanda.
Yeah, that's good info, Amanda, because really with this offense, this run and shoot, it literally is pitching and catching. Something you do in the backyard with your buddies or your little brother. I mean, you throw it, you catch it, period. End of report.
16 on that last play. Ursua with a $143. Play fake. Crossing Ursua, another first down. That'll move the chains again. Evan Fachman, Sean Williams combined on the stop.
And more importantly, for Hawaii, it's positive yards, and it's time off this clock. Then we're going to see this thing spin into the 4th quarter. Because so often these balls are being thrown between the hash marks, between the numbers at worst. And that means guys don't go out of bounds. That means the clock doesn't stop.
McDonald doing a heck of a job selling these play fakes, too. Long hold. Ursua targeted 11 times, his 8 grabs, pressure from Navy. Keep it on the ground with Holly, a stiff arm to Heflin, who holds on and rips him down to the 40. So we are through 3. A Hawaii team that led 28-0 journeys to the 4th. The lead sits at 10. Let's take a look at the Chick-fil-A game summary. And no surprise, a big disparity in rush yards and pass yards for each team's respective strength. A lot of yards for Hawaii, but the bulk came in the first.
First downs, Hawaii had 14 in the first half. Navy had 5. So they've outgained them 5-2 in that category.
Navy shows some late press. McDonald off the fake. Pocket holds. Long look to Bird. Incomplete. Lots of bodies in the area, and Sean Williams dipped the head.
Look at right here at the very end. Bird would have had to go right into Sean Williams to catch that ball. And Sean Williams would probably kick himself right now if he had that one back, because he knows that ball was his to catch if he's going for the ball and not the receiver.
He had a near interception on a very difficult play in the first half. On one of the rare McDonald misses. 4 of 9 on third down today. They struggled some on third down last week by percentage, but they had so many big plays it didn't matter. 3rd and 5. There's another bigger play. It's another first down. Bird taken out by Bachman.
Bird now is over 50 yards receiving. That was his 9th catch. Ursua has 8 for 154 and a touchdown.
They have been the definitive stars at wide receiver. And JoJo Ward has been that third man, had that 34-yard touchdown grab. But here's a look, first half to second half. Now part of that is Navy had the ball for nearly half of the third quarter at the start.
Yeah, 7 minutes in that first possession almost.
Ursua and Bird are on the same side, near left. That's where McDonald goes, wide open, one-handed grab! Spectacular play by Cedric Bird, touchdown, Hawaii!
During that last commercial, John and I are talking, we said, how come they don't have those 2 slot guys on the same side this half? They hadn't done it. Well, they did it then, and just like in the first half, it resulted in a wide open Bird for a touchdown.
His second touchdown grab. He joined the team out of junior college in time for spring ball when he took every single rep on the field.
Well, there's your answer. Navy with momentum. Cole McDonald with a shot down the field. And Bird tells you what those sticky gloves are for. They're to snag it and bring it back in.
We go downstairs to Amanda Balionis for more on the dynamic on the Hawaii offense.
Yeah, all game we've been seeing the chemistry between Cole McDonald and Cedric Bird, and that is completely by design. From the moment Cedric Bird stepped onto campus as a transfer, Cole McDonald asked him to ditch whatever arrangements he had made and stay with him. They are now currently roommates, and as offensive coordinator Brian Smith told us, they can finish each other's sentences, finish each other's thoughts, and that is imperative with this offense, with the run and shoot, because they have to have the same brain.
Appreciate that, Amanda, and they showed that on the last play for the Hawaii offense. Hawaii showing better finish in the second half this week than they did on the road in Fort Collins a week ago. Can Navy respond? Makekau. Hawaii native. Big play. Tavai drives him out of bounds.
There's a sudden play for you. That's something we've only seen out of Perry from the standpoint of just kind of a lightning approach. Makekau getting the edge in a heartbeat.
Tonight's first down line brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. 21 yards on that last first. And here's that pistol depth inverted bone look. And again, the slot's getting involved. This time it's Taj Malloy. Gargiulo provides escort. And that's another big play out of the slot back, the B-back position.
Gargiulo almost looks like a fullback, lead blocking. Watch 38 out in front. Bang! And he stays with it. Gets another nice little block. Good play design, but even better execution.
23 yards. Same formation here. Off the play fake, here's the throw. Trey Walker holds on with hard contact. contact for a touchdown. Kalen Hicks pumped him fiercely. And Walker takes the pounding and gets 6.
How about that for a pass by Perry? Sits in, flips it, and hits his receiver Walker, the S-back, right in stride in the chest, and he holds on.
That is Trey Walker, the senior's first career reception.
Nice way to start.
Not bad. And the point after is good.
Well, another example of that O-line and Gargiulo doing some great blocking on that drive. But that pass is all about a perfect placement by Perry and nice, tough catch by Walker.
Here's the boot. Hawaii will take a chance. Ongafa has done that a few times, and here to around the 23 as we can the Rainbow Warriors respond. First action for Miles Reed at running back. He gets a few. Pepe Tangovasa with the stop there, and Reed, who was nicknamed Bam Bam during his days in Corona, California at Centennial High School. He was known as a very physical runner. Haven't seen a lot of Dayton Ferruda tonight.
A little bit early, but not that much. It's been mainly the shoot of the run and shoot.
And Fred Holley, who's back in the game at running back, does have a 1-yard score. 2nd and 7. The pass is on again. McDonald, the rainbow throw, complete. JoJo Ward over the top, touchdown. One-on-one against Jared Ryan, and the Rainbow Warriors over the top.
Top of the screen, just a go pattern. Executed perfectly, and just as they did earlier when Navy pulled within 10, Hawaii had an answer. This one a quick strike answer.
Offensive coordinator Brian Smith told us in our meeting yesterday that JoJo Ward is a dynamic, fast player. He wasn't productive against Colorado State based on a matchup, but they had stuff in this week to take shots with him down the field, and they go 75 for 6. Hawaii with 52 on the board. Those will be some tired members of the Hawaii ROTC. 52-35 push-ups galore tonight.
Do the math on how many of those you have to do as they slowly score points here.
Let's go downstairs to Amanda.
Yeah, guys, I have to tell you, after every single touchdown scored by Hawaii, these fans have gotten louder and louder, and that makes sense because University of Hawaii said over 27,000 fans were expected to pack in here today. That's the most since 2014. Coach Brian Smith, the offensive coordinator, told us this island loves their football, and they love it even more when something unique is brought back, like the run and shoot. And my Uber driver on the way from the airport to the hotel could not stop talking about the run and shoot and how excited he was to come to this game tonight. So this island is completely behind this school.
Appreciate that, Amanda. That's something Nick Rolovich talked about, how special this place can be when Hawaii wins. Fair catch. Yes. Talented player. Perry on the fake. Flips to Aby. Aby's going to throw. Loads up. And a stumble by Perry. He was looking for Perry, and Tavai was right there alongside.
Maybe coming from the screen left. Perry's going to run down the sideline. He just ends up trying to cut back inside and trips over Tavai's feet.
It is a necessity, even with 11 minutes, this kind of disparity. Navy needs multiple pass completions to have a chance to win, right?
I would at this time, yeah. Now's the time to take some shots and take some chances.
Perry will do that. Pressure comes. Perry's down. Sack. Manley Williams has been in the backfield all night.
Well, if Manley Williams hasn't been in Perry's face, denying him the corner, in this case, Manley Williams comes from the backside, and he's drawing a bead the whole way.
Maybe was the intended target. He was matched up with Eugene Ford.
There's not much you can do.
You don't see 5 tackles for loss by a defense against Navy all that often. 3rd and 17. Not much for Perry. Takes a pop from Blessman to Allah. 10 minutes, 52-35. Do you have to go for it?
You've got to think about it, but the way they've been executing, I think this is the smart play. Hope your defense can make a play, get a ball tipped, get a ball ripped out, get a turnover to get you a quick score.
A couple of men who wore the Hawaii uniform as quarterbacks, Nick Rolovich and Ken Niumatololo. Dear friends, great respect for each other. Adversaries tonight. 4th down. Owen White has had 1 block tonight. He gets this one off. Cedric Bird, he's electric. Contained there. Alon Nash helps him out of bounds. We'll step aside. The dynamite Hawaii offense will take the field again. Beautiful scenes here in Hawaii. That's where you were the last few days, right? Lounging by the beach.
On the board?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
403 tonight. Nick Rolovich amassed his against Portland State. A twirling run into Taylor Heflin and Alon Nash. And Nick Rolovich still holds the record, by the way, for most touchdown passes in a game. A flag down.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 54, 15-yard penalty, added to the end of the run, 1st down.
Goes on Taylor Heflin. Not often you see penalties for Navy, which had been 1st or 2nd in the country for fewest penalties per game in the entire Niumatololo era until last year. That was a big factor in the Army-Navy game. A couple of procedural penalties that backed them up 10 yards for a 48-yard field goal that was a miss that could have won it.
Nice job on the play clock. Just breaking the huddle now at 11 seconds. McDonald's keeping an eye on that. He's told his guys, I won't snap it till it gets inside 5.
Miles Reed, the bigger 3rd back, play fake. Ward, after a bobble, settles. Haley helps him out of play right near the marker. We were speaking of the lineage of quarterbacks at Hawaii. There are 3 of them coaching here tonight. Ken Niumatololo, a backup. He was part of the first bowl team to make the Aloha Bowl. Ivan Jasper was part of the first bowl victory. That was in '92 over Illinois. Nick Rolovich with Hawaii as a record-setting quarterback, airing it out. 1st down and 10. Hawaii seeing some rare ground tonight with 52 points on the board against an FBS foe. They can try to add to it, but they want to work the clock in the process. Reed cuts it up. Reed out of a tackle. Flag down.
Yeah, that's the penalty.
Personal foul, defense, number 3. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the run.
Well, they're going to finish this drive easily.
Reed at running back. McDonald pump, spin, down. Taylor Heflin. Heflin, one of Navy's toughest players, able to swallow up the QB.
Yeah, Heflin doing a nice job, won't be denied. McDonald in his own way, pretty smart move, not just sort of chunking that out and catching a grounding penalty, trying to avoid that sack.
John Ursua, who hasn't been on the field as much, he's had some time off to rest. He's in the middle of the 3 receivers on the near side. McDonald off the fake. Ursua has the football. Has the 10, a gain of 3. Alon Nash hits him there. More time.
That was Ursua's 9th catch. Cedric Burrs has 11.
That's a pretty dynamic duo at wide receiver.
Oh, and by the way, JoJo Ward, he's got a pretty decent night going too, with 6 for 161 and 2 touchdowns.
The run and shoot has spread the love, and that's what the coaching staff talked about this week. It's about how the defense plays, who can and will excel. McDonald, one-on-one, end zone, touchdown, John Ursua.
Inside receiver, slot receiver on that side. Little quick rub right off the back of his fellow wide receiver, and McDonald just throws him open. Leads him right into that perfect spot.
6 touchdown passes tonight.
Shades of Colt McCoy. Or Colt Brennan, I'm sorry.
There have been so many dynamic QBs in the run and shoot for Hawaii. Cole McDonald quickly cementing his status on that list. And you would think at this point we've probably seen the last of McDonald, perhaps the last of Ursua tonight. The flag flies. Hawaii team that won 3 games last year, 1 in the league. That was against San Jose State. It also cost them Ursua. That's when he blew out the ACL in his right knee. What a different start to this year against 2 teams forecasted to be contenders in their leagues. We get word that Marcus Wiggins is out of the game for Navy. In is Garrett Lewis at quarterback, their best passing quarterback. Lewis on the slant. They get a first down. Hooks up with Taylor Jackson. They said if they had to run a 2-minute drill, he needed points in a hurry. Lewis would likely be the signal caller.
Well, here at 4.5 minutes to go, this is definitely that situation.
Outside, Jackson again. Lewis, a quarterback his entire life, has that natural feel. Nick Rolovich, a former quarterback, feeling rather good about his team. He told us that last week against Colorado State, for the first time as a coach, he walked into a stadium knowing his team would win. There, a throw to C.J. Williams a bit behind him, and he holds on, taking the hit from Kalen Hicks.
Actually, a bit behind him worked out in his favor. That took him away from that hit. And Lewis did a nice job of sticking that ball right on him.
Lewis wisely throws it away. Frees the clock at 3:59. Kanai Pacanso, the JUCO transfer, gave the pressure to help him out of bounds there. And Lewis got the start against Notre Dame. Was up on the depth chart at one point. 2016, he had a great spring, then got banged up. He entered fall camp even with Zach Abey, but injuries derailed some of his opportunities to move up. The lob in front of Miles Fells.
Here's a good example there. That sometimes that sideline's your best friend when you're a defender. You limit the space that the receiver can run into, and you definitely limit the space that the quarterback can throw the ball into.
Zach Abey is in at wide receiver. Very different feel on the 2 sidelines. Now, Hawaii began last year 2-0, but the way they have played these 2 games, and against a Colorado State team was forecasted to be solid in the Mountain West, and a Navy team expecting a much improved season in the American, This is incredibly impressive. Off target to Cooper. Farris in coverage. 4th down.
Yeah, this is all about protection now. You're at 3:45 to go. The way this offense for Hawaii's been moving the ball, there's a decent chance you won't see it again if you don't score here, or at least get a 1st down.
Lewis breaks huddle. Shotgun 4 wide. Lewis fires in heavy traffic. Taylor Jackson against Farris. He's got it for the 1st down.
Nice little zip pass. Just put that thing, fit it in just perfectly. Jackson looks it in and can't be ripped out. That was a very nice execution.
Lewis steps up. Sails that one tall and incomplete.
Nowhere to go with it. That's exactly where he needed to do. Throw that one through the uprights.
They're showing some feel coming in cold. He's been on as the holder, but not a quarterback until this drive. Aby's wide to the far side. Cooper a favored target. 1-on-1 on the near. Lewis finds his man, C.J. Williams.
That's worth mentioning here at 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go that Navy's got to go back to next week to Annapolis, take on Memphis. Coming off that 56-0 lead at the half this last week, and another very, very prolific passing offense comes into Marine Corps Memorial Stadium.
It'll be a long journey. Lewis on the option keep. And we showed the graphic earlier. Navy, the only team on the mainland, or the most miles of any team on the mainland that will be traveled this year. The only team with more is Hawaii, but that's an annual event for the Rainbow Warriors.
A lot more.
Walker motion. Aby keeps. And he's in for a touchdown. Zach Aby's 4th rushing score of the game.
That's been a very effective part of this offense that you kind of knew coming in. Short yardage goal line, you're going to get a pretty good dose of Zach Aby, and they have really executed that part of the offense extremely well.
And the offense on the field. Looks like Aby will jog off and Lewis will check in for a 2-point conversion. So Navy goes for 2. And Lewis knocked down. Tavai was there and Farris. Conversion fails.
Yeah, I like the idea of being in a tight formation, but as you try that fake, that tight formation basically kind of brought all the defenders in that little smaller area. It meant there were more people around to get shots on the quarterback, on Lewis.
And Nick Rolovich took some chances tonight in spots. They paid off.
Yeah, they really did. Fred Hawley had a good performance at running back. Cedric Bird, John Ursua, JoJo Ward, Cole McDonald.
Onside for Osborne. Right into the capable hands of the usual returner, Cedric Bird. And instead, it looks like it's Colney Cassell, Sacramento State transfer. Here's the flick. They go to their second unit. Eric Rooks with the grab. Now, we've seen, it's not frequent, but Randy, we've seen programs deal with multiple quarterback injuries in a year. Just look at Navy. They've experienced it in recent years. Tago Smith goes down to the second quarter of the season opener.
Yeah, Malcolm Perry comes out of the stands.
Will Worth breaks his foot late in the course of the season. Zach Aby has to make his debut in the Army-Navy game. His first career start. Miles Reed in at running back. Bit of a high snap. Reed spins off Dave Tolentino's first hit. He gets the first on the spin to the 40. Evan Fachman the stop. Here's a look at what's on deck for the Midshipmen. Now, a lot of the issue will be on the back end of the schedule. They'll have 5 of their final 6 away from home. They're the only team in the FBS to do that. And they're also going from Hawaii all the way to Annapolis, Maryland, to begin conference play against the favored team in the American West.
It's not easy, but nobody said it was going to be easy. You know, they had every intention of this being a significantly different game than it currently is. The reality is you're on the plane, you're making your trip, and you got a really good Memphis dangerous offense in your place next Saturday.
And a dangerous Hawaii team putting the Mountain West on watch. They got a conference win in week 0 over Colorado State. That raised eyebrows. The Navy will begin its year 0-1, while Hawaii will run to 2-0. And its first back-to-back wins over FBS competition in a couple of years.
And there are a lot of smiles, and this will be a fun place for Hawaii and their coach Nick Rolovich and their quarterback Cole McDonald. This whole gang's going to have a heck of a time here. They seem to have their head on straight.
An embrace between two friends. And Nick Rolovich holds so much respect for Ken Niumatololo. Competitors here tonight, but the Aloha spirit lives between the two. And McDonald, who deferred so much to teammates in the wake of the win over Colorado State, gained a lot of respect from the Navy coaching staff, and some words from the Hawaii coaches as well about how he showed that maturity, mentioning his line, mentioning his receivers. That'll wrap things up from here in Honolulu. The run and shoot back in a big way. Block punt, opportunistic scores, and Hawaii cruises to a 2-0 start. We'll see you again next week when Navy is home against Memphis. For now, we go to Inside College Football. Hawaii takes down Navy 59-41.